This is important, guys. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda, and this is a vlog of my late autism and ADHD diagnosis. I also have total aphantasia, which I talk about occasionally on this channel, and I also have a memory disorder called SDAM, which stands for Severely Deficient Autobiographical Memory. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about my memory disorder in relation to my autism unmasking journey, because I've been thinking about it a lot lately. So I'm not exactly sure how it came up, but the other day, I don't know, I was just trying to think about different things, and I kind of became aware of how different I am now, a little bit a year past being diagnosed autistic and ADHD. And a lot of that is due to unmasking. And a lot of that is probably just to growing older. I mean, constantly people are changing, right? But I've had a significant amount of change in my life this last year, like a significant. And most of that was going to be due to my diagnosis. Well, I'm trying to find a way to explain this because, my videos, I try to just kind of talk off the cuff because I want it to be natural and real. But this is something that is just, it's hard for me to even understand myself, so it's really hard to explain, but I'm going to do my best. Before I was diagnosed autistic, I was a highly masked, undiagnosed autistic person. Like, always been autistic. I just didn't know it, right? I didn't even know it for myself. And I had my brain basically protected me, and I did not know that I was masking my autistic traits. I did know that I struggled to fit in and that I would do things that I thought my peers were doing, and I would get different results. I also knew that a lot of people liked me in a group, but then they never invited me to one-on-one things. And so I always felt left out. I could never understand what was it about me that people didn't pick me. But like if I would go to a mom's night out or anything, people were always nice to me. Nobody was, really rude to me. I do think that I had some bullying growing up, but again, because of my memory disorder, I don't really remember most of it. Well, yeah, hold on. Oh, goodness. So my memory disorder is an autobiographical memory disorder. That means that I don't have memories of my life, like the experiential memories of my life. So there's lots of reasons why people can have memory loss. A lot of times I will talk about this on my channel and people are like, oh, that explains what's going on with me. And it might be. This is newly researched. There has not been that much discussion on it. So I think it's like aphantasia. When they first started talking about aphantasia, they thought it was only 1% of the population. Now they're up to thinking it's like 4% of the population. And the more and more people hear about aphantasia, they're like, oh, that's me too. I didn't know other people could visualize in their mind. So it might be the same thing with SDAM. I don't know the percents on it right now, but the last time I looked, it was like they estimated 1 to 2% of the population have SDAM. But who knows? Maybe it is more. And also, everybody with SDAM is self-diagnosed because it's still being researched. I am medically diagnosed autistic and ADHD. Aphantasia is like super easy to self-diagnose. And again, there's no doctor out there diagnosing aphantasia. You can either visualize in your brain or you can't. And once you learn about aphantasia, it's really easy to tell if you have it or not. But SDAM, that one took me a lot longer. I did deep dive researching and looking into other people who self-identified with it and reading scientific articles and just before I like, okay, yeah, that is what fits my internal experience too, matches what other people are saying about it. But there are other memory disorders too. Now, SDAM is lifelong. It's not like I just don't remember my childhood. I don't remember the Hawaii vacation I went on, a couple weeks ago. Obviously, I have semantic memory. I don't have autobiographical memory. So I know that I went to Hawaii a couple weeks ago. I know that I got sick on that vacation. I don't remember what it feels like to be there. I don't remember the details. And then the further on it goes, the more semantic knowledge I will lose about the event. And sometimes I will forget it completely. Like a friend's wedding, I was thinking about, and I was like, did I go to your wedding? I was in their wedding. And I don't even remember that I went to the wedding, much less the fact that I was actually a bridesmaid in that wedding. So this is where my thoughts about my memory disorder and my autism have come together, because I spend most of my life living in the present because I can't sit and reminisce about the past. I can think about semantically things that had happened, like, oh, yes, I went to Disney World in 2022. But I can't reminisce about that trip because I don't, that's the part I'm missing. I'm missing the part that people reminisce about their memories. It's just a title. Amanda went to Disney World in 2022. She did this, this, and this. Like, that's it. Like, there's no rich details to my life. Huh. I got this mug from my sister for Christmas. It's so cute. Okay. So it got me thinking. Semantically, I know that I was a high masking autistic person. But what does that look like, and how much have I changed? So I I'm a kind of person that I don't take a lot of video because I take a lot of photos. Although I feel like I've been doing that less than I used to. And I think it's because when I look back at photos and video, it doesn't bring back the memories. I can look at it, I can recognize that it's me in the photo or the video, but it still doesn't bring back any memory of that experience. So I think over time, I'm just like, what's the point? Which it does help with my semantic memory to have this kind of photographic and video proof. So I really should keep up with it. But I think at one point it was just feeling like one more thing that was too much. And it's kind of depressing to look back at a photo and still not remember being there. So that's just kind of life. And same thing with journaling. People are like, well, write journals. I can reread what I wrote, and it's like I'm reading somebody else's journal. So I do have videos from before my diagnosis because I started my cooking YouTube channel in 2021, I think. I'm ADHD time blind. Hold on, let me look that up. Yes, January of 2021. So I'm ADHD time blind. So it's hard for me to I can't time. My life timeline is so hard. I have to use logic to figure out when things happened, unless I take the time to specifically Disney 2022 is cemented in my brain logically because I know it was 2 years after um, COVID, because we were supposed to go in 2020 and that trip got canceled. So that's the only reason why that year is stuck to that event. Otherwise, yeah, I have to use logic. So anyway, I do have some videos of myself before I was diagnosed. And I'm going to put in some clips because I am so masked in these videos. And what I'm trying to explain, what I want y'all to understand is that I did not know that I was masked. I thought I was being authentic. Now, when you watch the clip, it's going to look like somebody who is putting on a persona, because that's what it was, for the camera. Like, there are people who would try to be more bubbly or more energetic for a camera. I wasn't trying to do that. I thought that, like, the idea of my cooking channel was that you were just going to come into my kitchen and be with me, and that I was going to be my natural self. I thought I was authentic. It's kind of a great irony of my entire life how much authenticity has always been so important to me. I'm not one to buy poetry. I'm not one to even buy works of art from other people because I like my own art. I don't know. It might be hubris. I don't know. But when I read this short little poem, I went out of my way to search down the poet and buy this printed and it's signed on the back from her because it hit me that much. And this was way before I was diagnosed with autism. And it says, "You will never truly be free until you're living in authenticity." So, I mean, it's a, 4-line poem, very short. It's by Christy Ann Martin. And I literally bought it and hung it up in my office because being an authentic person has always just meant that much to me. So when I learned about autism and I learned about masking and I learned that my brain basically created a fake persona for the world to see, and it even convinced myself that I was that person. No wonder I've hit burnout. Like, my brain is really restructuring and rewiring. God, I wish I could explain this so much from the internal experience. An example of this is that people would tell me, like, if I was trying to get feedback, like, what's, like, I would ask people, why do I not connect with people? What's going on? What is the trouble? Like, I went to a lot of personal development seminars in my 20s and 30s because I was constantly trying to understand what was missing for me to be able to connect with people because I was trying to be so authentic and I couldn't connect with people. And the feedback I would often get is that I was too perfect. Like, I was always putting on that I was perfect about everything. And that's the only little thing where my mask would be a little bit broken because internally I knew that I wasn't perfect. I'm like, I'm not perfect. I'm struggling. Like, I knew I was struggling. Like a perfect person wouldn't be having this much difficulty trying to find friends. A perfect person wouldn't be like struggling so much to keep their house like spotless because that was part of my mask. Like, I actually did project perfectionism. I was that Pinterest mom to some degree, but it was my mask. I knew how hard all that was. It was compensating because also being a black and white thinker, like, I had to do things to the extreme. There was never any gray area. I literally just wore myself down trying to be the best person for every situation. And it was exhausting. And I knew that I wasn't perfect. But if I would, like, say that to somebody, I'm not perfect, they took it as a humble brag. Oh yeah, I'm not perfect. Ha ha ha. But I knew I wasn't, but that's what people saw because that was the mask that I would show. So when I was doing my cooking channel in the beginning, I'm like, I want to bring people in. I want to like let them see the real me. And yet I was still masked from myself. So here I'm going to put a clip in and I'll be right back. Hey everyone, how is your Sunday going? Today has gone by incredibly way too fast for me. I can't believe it's already time for me to start making dinner. My to-do list has gotten longer than the hours of the day, which I'm sure is the same for a lot of y'all. But here we are making dinner. Tonight I'm gonna make a fish stew. For anybody who's a little bit nervous to cook fish at home, this is the recipe. Well, not recipe, but method for you, because it's almost no fail. It's really easy. It tastes incredible, and you are just gonna really like it. I just know it. If you like fish. Hey guys, I'm Amanda, and I like to cook, and I want to show you how you can just create dinner in the moment without needing a recipe. So, welcome to my kitchen, where chaos is probably going to happen as I cook up a dinner. Tonight, I'm making a everyday chicken Alfredo. So, well, let's just get started and see how it goes. Okay, so there was 2 clips, and those were from some of my earlier videos. It was just the little intros that I did. And one thing you'll see is that my eyebrows were way up high. Whenever I would talk, I'd be really animated because I was masking. Like, I can't even do that right now. Like, it's so, like, when I would talk to people, I would do that because I was so concentrating on trying to like smile and make eye contact and say the right words. And oh my gosh, like I can't even do that anymore. And I'm gonna pause a little bit because unmasking is a ongoing process. I am still in front of you masked to some degree because, for instance, these curls, I love my curls. Y'all know I've talked about that before in the past. They drive me crazy. If I was really trying to get rid of things that cause me sensory issues, then I would probably have a different haircut. I actually know of autistic people who've shaved their hair because of sensory issues. But I do put up with it because I like the way my curls look. And even wearing makeup. I enjoy wearing makeup, but my eyes are kind of lightly stinging right now because no matter what makeup brand I ever try, I'm going to have a sensory issue with it. And if you are trying to get rid of things that cause you sensory overwhelm, these are the things that you work on to remove from your life. Even my clothing, like unless I lived in pajamas all day, every day, and even then I'm aware of them, they're just more comfortable. But like the bands on these shirts are tight, like I'm constantly adjusting my clothes because clothes. So I don't even know if there's a way to completely unmask. And that's a question people will ask me. What is unmasking? And it's something that it's going to look different for each person. But to me, it is being authentic, truly. It is speaking up and saying, I don't understand that when, somebody is asking a question. Like there's so many times where I would just nod and go along because I was so clueless. I was missing so many social cues. But I knew I was supposed to understand, so I would just kind of like nod and then try to figure it out later in the background, which would cause more anxiety. But now, like at doctor's offices, I'm like, I don't understand that. You're going to have to explain that a different way, that kind of thing. It is asking for accommodations. So the other day at the dentist, I asked to speak to the office manager, and asked the office manager if there were things that we could do at their office to help accommodate for me and my kid being autistic. It took me so much courage to do that, but I did it, and they're going to be able to give us a private room for cleanings and turn off the music in that room and dim the lights and offer us x-ray blankets as a weighted blanket option during our cleanings and stuff. So it's like, asking, because autism is a disability. So asking for the accommodation so that you can be comfortable. Anything that you can do that helps you not dissociate. Now, I don't know if all autistic people do this, but this is what would happen to me as a masked autistic person. And it's why I'm left with, as you can see, I did a video a while back. Do I have CPTSD? And yes, pretty much any late diagnosed autistic person is going to have CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress syndrome, stress disorder. Right? I spent a lot of my life dissociating. Just the other day, and again, ongoing process, right? Just the other day, I was in the shower using a new soap that I bought. And I'm like, this soap smells so disgusting. The entire time that I was using the soap on my body, I was like, this is so gross. I hate the smell of this soap. And this is a soap I've used in the past. But see, now I'm not disassociating from my unpleasant sensory experiences. And I'm now aware of them. In the past, anything that was unpleasant, too sensory overwhelming, or, stressing, my brain would just check out. That's not good for your brain. That is really harmful for your brain. That is what causes CPTSD, is constantly dissociating from your lived experience. See, and the other thing that I'm asking is because, a lot of autistic people STEM. When I'm doing these videos, I know a lot of movement on camera can be distracting. So I will try to hold my head and body very still. I will fidget still with my hands. But by the end of a video, my neck is so stiff because I move a lot. As an autistic person, we're constantly moving. Oh gosh, seriously. Now that I'm aware of it, it's like I can't sit still. So it's an ongoing process. Even from the beginning of this channel, if you watch some of my earlier videos, I'm much, much more masked. And then when I am having a very dysregulated day, I'm less masked because I don't have the brain capacity to mask. Today, I'm not dysregulated. I'm feeling pretty good. That's why it's like I have a little bit more animation sounding in my voice. When I'm dysregulated, I'm going to be a lot more monotone. And both, I think, are natural states for me. My tone right now, I don't feel is masked. It's just I'm not dysregulated. And autism is a dynamic disability. And when I'm more dysregulated, then my tone's going to go more monotone because I don't have the brain capacity. I think I just said that. I'm also talking really fast right now, I think, because I'm really excited about making all of these correlations with each other. And the reason why you want to remove as many of these things that cause sensory overwhelm is because when you're exposed, as an autistic person, when I'm exposed to that smelly soap and the tickly hair and the uncomfortable clothes, and then all of a sudden, a neighbor's dog starts barking, and the more sensory experiences, then that's when my brain's going to go into a shutdown and I'm going to be dysregulated. So when you can remove the ones you can control, yeah, I can put up with that soap, but that is one I can control in my environment. So when I can remove these sensory overwhelms in my environment that I have the ability to remove, then the things that I can't remove, I'm going to have a little bit bigger window of tolerance for those. So when you have friends and family and loved ones that are autistic, telling them to push through things like, oh, come on, that soap isn't that big a deal, or just go ahead and eat that dinner. I know you don't like it. And it's not that we don't like it, it's that it is a sensory overwhelm for our brain. The texture might not be right, the smell might not be right, the taste might not be right. That's causing a sensory experience for us, which, hurts our nervous system. And again, it's like you've seen, graphics where people like fill up a water bottle, like you have a glass cup, and every single time there's something that is causing a sensory overwhelm sensation, you put in a marble, and then that cup's just going to overflow. And that's what's going to cause a shutdown or a meltdown. A shutdown is where an autistic person kind of just turns inside themselves. They might go selective mutism. They might just withdraw and have to go to a quiet room. They may need to put a eye mask and earplugs in. And then a meltdown is when they're probably going to cry. They might throw things. I've never been one to throw things, but some autistic people do, because it's like you just got to get it out. And if you have an eloper for a kid, it's when they're going to run away. And so, reducing the sensory overwhelm experiences. But part of the unmasking process is my brain learning to understand that now this is important, guys. My brain is learning that I am going to start listening to it and start removing those things, like the soap, like the foods that I don't like, the things that I can control in my environment. I'm going to take care of those so it doesn't have to dissociate them away. When I was ignoring, as an undiagnosed masked autistic person, when I was ignoring my sensory overwhelm, the only thing my brain knew to do was dissociate from it, because I wasn't taking care of it. So my brain did, which causes trauma in the long run. And the brain can only do so much. Anyway, so yeah, those videos have this like really bubbly personality that is just not me. And it's interesting to look back and see it, and how now, if I was watching it, I would even say, oh, that was me trying to act for the camera, but I wasn't. That was me trying to be authentic. I hope this video landed. I feel like it might have been a little bit all over the place, but this is how I process. These videos are how I figure things out. And I'm sharing with you the raw front cut. I know a lot of people would get all this stuff sorted in their head and then film a video, but again, and that's fine. Like, if that's how their process works. But for me, discovering it in real time with you is just more authentic. It's part of the process. It's learning out loud with you guys. So until the next one, bye. Okay, here's me being authentic. I'm like, okay, about to turn off this video and edit. And I can't edit while my hair is down around my face, because that's, again, one sensory experience too much while I'm thinking to edit. So I'm like, pull up the hair so we can get to editing the video. And I do love my hair up in a bun, but I love wearing it down too. So I do try to wear it down when I can. Oh God, this feels so much better sensory wise.